It is a great honor and a privilege to introduce Dina Smadar. Your maiden name is Neumann. We're here in your beautiful home in Protea village in Israel. And Dina, you come from such a special family that survived the Shoah in Italy.
Part of them.
Part of them, yeah.
Part of them.
So if you could tell us a little bit about your incredible family and how
Okay,
they survived.
my mother was born in Berlin in 22 or 23, I think, and my grandfather and my grandmother lived in Berlin, but because they were Jewish, they couldn't buy an apartment. They didn't have money, but they couldn't buy an apartment because there was no chance to buy an apartment, only to live in rent by somebody's other place. So my grandfather worked as a accountant in a factory of. You can see he's my grandfather. This is my grandmother. This is my grandfather. Father in Berlin.
Your grandfather?
All the pictures are here from my grandfather.
What was his name?
Yehoshua Friedman. Yehoshua Friedman.
And at the bottom is your grandmother?
And this is my grandmother, yes.
And her name?
Judith. Judith Friedman. This is from April 1935, before it's already started.
And that is in Berlin?
Ken, yes. This also is a picture of my mother, my grandfather and grandmother in Berlin. Here also, in Berlin. Okay. This was when the war started. My grandfather was taken to a concentration camp, Sachsenhausen, and he is one of the three that survived from this camp. He also wrote a very, very sad book about his being in the about all the prisoners were tortured and hunger and everything. My grandmother did something, we don't know what till today, because they never talked about it, but I think she pressured us, איך אומרים לה, שיחדה. I don't know what she did, but Hitler said that in 1 week, when the Jewish people will leave Berlin, it's okay. So she did something, we don't know what, and she got my grandfather out of the concentration camp. I don't know if she gave money or whatever, but it was survived. And then the family packed what they could take with them, and they ran away to Yugoslavia. So Yugoslavia, in few sentences, they met more Jewish people that were running away from Europe, from North Europe more, and they stayed there, and then slowly, every night, they ran away from village to village, changing their clothes to look like farmers from this area, this specific area where they were, till they got to South Italy, and they were taken to the concentration camp Ferramonti de Tarsia. So my grandmother, my grandfather, and my mother, she was not married yet, she didn't meet my father yet, they came to the camp Ferramonti. Then this is another story. This is the fourth story. So, my father, on the other hand, And they didn't know anything about the family. My grandfather has maybe 8 brothers and sisters. My mother was an only child. My grandmother was also, I don't know how many, but many children in the family. Most of them were killed and murdered, but the other that survived, my grandfather died and didn't know that they survived because there was no internet. He used only the מדור לחיפוש קרובים, you know, and not in English. And he wrote letters and he looked after, but the last capture was he sent to Yad Vashem the pay aid that they were dead and he doesn't know what happened with them. Okay. My father, on the other hand, was born in Bratislava, in Slovakia, and when the Nazis were there, came, and his mother and father and brother, his father and his brother were killed in Bergen-Belsen. My grandmother survived from the side of my father. She was also in Bergen-Belsen. I know that she was cleaning the deads. Yes. I'm sorry to tell that since then she's not, they were very religious. Also my grandfather, also my grandmother. And after she did this and what happened, she lived the Jewish, she was Jewish, but she didn't go to Bet Knesset and anything else. And so my father went with a ship called Pencho. He and maybe 50 of his friends.
This is the ship?
This is the ship. The ship is another story that, the ship is another story, a very unique one, because the ship was, it's a river ship, it's not a ship. It's a river boat. And it was not able to carry more than 150 people, and when it sank, at least in the Greek island, there were 534 on the little boat. It was terrible, but they all survived, and we got it. This is another story of my father. He came with a ship with Zionists, and the ship was planned to travel 4 months and came to Netanya in Israel. But unfortunately it has many difficulties on its way, and on one island in Greek it sank. And they stay alive on a little island only with rocks and everything, and they wrote on a big sheet with shoe paste that they could take from the ship, and they wrote SOS. And after they didn't have food and water and everything, but they survived. They took something from the ship they could before it was under the water, and then an airplane saw them, and I'm sorry about my English. They saw them, and they sent a ship, and the ship took them all to Rhodos, not to Ferramonti yet. In Rhodos they were half a year, but there was no food, no money, nothing, and the people in Rhodos asked the management, whatever, to let the Jewish people out of the island, because when they are there, all the life economy is much more yakar.
It's more expensive.
more expensive, נכון? It's more expensive, and they couldn't carry it and bear it. It's awful. So there came a ship. It's very short what I'm telling, because there are 3 or 4 books about this story, and also 2 or 3 films for 2 hours about this story. But it's very, very short about my father. Then the ship bring them, they arrive also to Ferramonti, to the camp. There my father met my mother, but this is another story. Okay, and I will show you, this is my grandmother, from the mother of my father.
And what was her name?
Cecilia. Cila. Oh, Cila is enough. Her husband, of course, was murdered in Bergen-Belsen, and she has 3 sons, and one of them was also murdered in Bergen-Belsen. I want to show you. This is my father in Bratislava, still in Bratislava. This is I don't know if you can see, I look after a better photo. This is one of the youngest brother of my father that was killed. This is my father, my grandfather that was killed. And one brother survived, married a Czech Goite woman, and okay, this is in Israel. And I don't have here pictures of the photo, only in the computer. And they came there. The life in Ferramonti was not a Holocaust camp like we all know, not like Auschwitz and Buchenwald and all those. It was more like a place. It was a camp that was built for some workers to dry the bitzot. There was water with malaria, and they went there. They were sent there to the camp to dry all the water, so there will be no malaria. Because the war was in the north, the south people in Italy didn't know exactly what is going on and what happened. They were poor, and many of them immigrant, and they didn't know why so many Jews are coming from the north, from all over. There come Jews also from North Africa and from France and from everywhere. They didn't know what is going on. They are not criminals, so why are they in the camp? So the camp was first of all very strict, with strict rules and everything, but they were with the time, they were there 3 years. With the time they got more privileges and more, they were able to get out from the camp. The manager of the camp was very human, very good to them.
Was it Italian?
Italian, yes, but it was not so. It was not so radical, and he led them with the time not to do in the morning the counting the people, and not to go exactly at 10 or 9 o'clock into bed, and they even got some money to buy things or to change. The life in the camp was, my mother always told, why are you dealing with this camp? It was nothing in compared to Sachsenhausen and Auschwitz and Buchenwald. We have good life. We had life like the most Italian people in the south. They were poor, they didn't have money, they didn't have food. So what? There was also black market. So they started to build there a community life. I will show you in the afterward. And in 1944, Moshe Sharet, what was involved in bringing the leftover Jews to Israel. He managed to bring certificates to all the internees in the camp. And after half a year, I was born there. Many children in the camp, many couples were married, and there was I will show you many professions. There were doctors and barbers and ice cream and whatever you want. And it was, in compare what happened in all Europe, it was so-called good.
And I just want to show this beautiful picture.
We are not starting with it yet.
I know, but it's just such an amazing picture of your parents in the camp.
These are my parents in the camp, a week after their marriage, and in a little, you see, they look very in a Hilton hotel, but it was very, very small, smaller than the kitchen, and it was long barracks, and they split the barracks with blankets, and this was a corner of my parents because they were married, so they got their own blanket to blanket, a place to stay. My father was a carpenter, so he was always busy and had always a lot of work. So they made a barter. He made something from wood to a friend, and the friend painted pictures from Walt Disney on the wall. I asked my mother, she was still alive when I painted the tables, and I asked her, what about the color of the table cover? She said, I don't know, but it was not red and blue. But because I made an exhibition about tables, that was another thing to show how the table was empty, no food and nothing, but they lived and they capture the honorable life, to look good, to be decorative, to you see, I don't know from where he has a khalifa.
I think he had a suit with a tie.
I know that they were few, and they gave them to each other in each marriage or some places. So it's one of many art pieces that I did, that I involved myself with present colors in the future that I didn't that I wasn't involved in, because here I was not born yet. Okay, so this is one of the photos.
But Dina, if you look at that photo, your father has a tie on, and he's so smartly dressed.
Yes, but he didn't came from Slovakia with a tie.
I know, but you think
they changed, and they changed materials, and they changed everything also with the people around them in the villages. Black market, there was a lot of black market. Okay? Then in 1944 they got a certificate, and my grandfather from my mother's side and my parents came to Israel, to Netanya, and this is the last story, the finish of the whole voyage. It was a finish. They got a little place. There was no where to live and anything. A little place to live in, and then they started their life in Israel. This is another story.
What year were you born in? It was near the end of the war.
It was. I was 44. 15th of March 44. I was born. It was nearly the end. But my parents still stayed in the camp for another half year, because my mother was pregnant with me in the war, but when I was born, it was already, the camp was already חופשי, free.
Liberated.
Liberated, נכון. As that's the story of my family in short. Now I want to show you something that I did about the camp and what is going on there. What is going on there today. Today I don't know, because of since the corona I didn't went there. Not because of the corona, and then afterwards they asked me to come again. They paid everything for me, and it was very, very touching and very, very exciting to be there. The first time that I came, I cried because I heard at home also Ferramonti, and also saw pictures, and I know how my parents suffered there and everything. But when you stay on the land, on the ground of Ferramonti, you understand what is going on, because it's January. It's the 27th of the Holocaust Day, the World Holocaust Day, and it's cold there. It's awful, and I don't know how my parents survived with this such awful weather. So, but I went there for a few years. I discovered, I will not tell you the whole story because it will take a long time. I discovered unbelievable how in the swimming pool where I swim, in the jacuzzi, I discovered that there is a woman that knows about Ferramonti, and she has contact with the camp. So I decided to travel with her the first time. It was very touching, but the management, there was a museum. There was already a museum, but the museum was not curated correctly, and was not curated according to the events and what really happened there. And I volunteered to correct it and to curate it as it should be done. It is not the best I could do, but there is no money there. So because there's short money, because we didn't have money, I did one building that the region in Rome gave 800,000, less than €1 million, to renovate the camp. But there were only 4 buildings there, and they were all very, very in bad shape. So they had to cut them, but they renovated as it was, like it was the original. And there are 4 buildings there that are renovated, and every year I came and curated one room. I got many photos. First of all, I had a lot from my friends here that were also born in Israel, and their parents were married in the camp. There are still 8-10 people that I know them that were born there, or the parents were there. And they gave me a lot of photos and documents, and everything was scanned, and it's my computer. And then I met a person called Professor Mario Rende. His father lived in Tarsia. Tarsia is 10 minutes from the camp. 10 minutes, it means Ferramonti de Tarsia, because it was the place there was under Tarsia. And this man is a 5 or 6 generation. He also has a home there from his grandmother. He's very fond of Jewish people, and very he's interested. He also is going every year to clean the graves of Jewish people in the area. And he also has a folder in how it looked before and how it looked after he cleaned it. He is very fond of Jewish people, and he was also in Israel, and we were here. And he helped me a lot he said, you see, I want somebody in Israel to have all the inventory that I have. but you are not allowed to give it to anyone. So he sent me thousands of photos and documents, and I had to arrange them with what I had. And I also got many photos from Washington, a Jewish Shoah Museum. And of course they agreed to give me and to use it because I gave them mine that they didn't have. So they decided to give me, and I arranged it. And then the mayor of the village, the political situation changed, and there came another mayor that was more interesting in making something from the camp, because he understood that he have a treasure in his hands. That was a camp that nobody knows about it. It was very different from any story that you know. So he decided first to give money, a little bit, and also we in Israel, I collected money, and also Mario Render gave money, and I started to work. I didn't know the situation there. So I said to Mario, look, I am ready to do the work, but it is a lot of work. You have to arrange all the photos and to fix them, all the if there is a cut or white points and everything. I am ready to come and to work 1 week, 2 weeks. He came. Come now, he said to me. 1 month, 2 months, we pay you everything, not a salary, it was in volunteer, but we pay you the hotel and everything. Come and work, and please do one building. So when we open in the 27th, again, I want one building to be, I said, but the printing, it was very, I sit 1 month till 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and arranged the walls and made pilots of the walls and sent to him. He said, whatever you say, do. You don't have. It was very good arranged with the materials and with the money that we have. It was very difficult. And then every year I went there we went to villages around the area to give testimonies, to meet pupils, to be in schools, to be in and it's very, very not interesting, it's very, very weird. Nobody knew about this camp. And it was 10 minutes from our village, 30 minutes at least from our village. Nobody knew. Then we went to Cosenza, it's the Ir Bira, the capital of the region. We went there to a congress, like a congress, and nobody knew about it. A teacher from high school came to me, tell me, what is going on? I live here in Cosenza, I didn't know about it. I have to go there, I have to do. And she came to see many. Now every year there come thousands of people and visiting the camp from all over Italy, but most of them from the Napoli to the south. And that's in short.
Can I ask, was the camp only for Jews, or was it for...
No, there were also poshim, criminals, also people that were arranged against the regime. People that were arranged against the regime were also in this camp.
Mussolini was...
Nachon, against Mussolini, they were also there. But there were three from, I think, 5,000 people. Internees, there were 3,000, more or less 3,500 Jewish people. Okay? Okay? But the interaction between the Jewish and the Christians and the Greek Orthodox, like this, it was very, very good connection. Even the core of the Jewish community sang on Sundays in the Christian church. The connection was like this, you know, very, very, you have the word, very, very cooperative and very, very human. It was very good connection. So it was, I want to show you my matzeget. You can also take it, בסדר?
So Dina, in this camp, no one was killed?
Nobody was killed. The Nazis tried several times to pick up some people to kill them or to take them to the concentration camps. But the manager of the camp was so human. He told them, he put yellow flags like we have for the Hatufim today on every barrack. So he said, okay, come inside. All the camp is sick with typhus. If you want, take them. They're all sick. So they went away. And there was another story they tried. They tried to took somebody and he told them, he is in the hospital in Cosenza, he's not here. So they tried to take people, but you see, Ferramonti was on the north of Italy. They have so many jobs and things to do in the north. The Nazis didn't have time to come to the south. That was their muzzle, their luck. They were lucky because of this. Otherwise, when the war would take place another 2, 3 or 4 months, everybody was killed. It's more luck that the war was ended.
It's min hashamayim, yeah.
Min hashamayim, okay. So this is it's written the Ferramonti de Tarsia in Italy. It was a camp of shfiut, shfiut, not logi. It was shfiut. You know what is shfiut? Good and mankind to mankind and empathy. How do you call it altogether? Shfiut.
Compassion.
Yeah. Nachon. Okay. So here you see in the camp today. In the camp today there is a model like half of this room that you see the camp how it was. Barracks, that here were the internees, and here was a management place. 4 or 5 buildings that were today renovated, and the museum is here. All this is ruined. Only you see more here and there some leftovers of building, but nobody is there. And here you see the camp also, and this is a English or Italian guards that were keeping the camp in good terms.
But in the background, that were the barracks.
That the barracks, here the barracks. But it's not a photo, it's a photo of a model.
But in the right side, that's the actual...
Yes, can. You can see where it was the camp. The camp was, if this is Italy, the camp was here, in the edge, Calabria. In the edge here. So if the Germans were busy all over Europe, they didn't have enough time to go to the edge. They did have, but not enough. So even though the railway station was 20 meters from the camp, they came only few times and they didn't succeed to harm anything. So the camp was in Calabria, and the capital city was Cosenza, in a valley, around it many mountains, bitzot, how do you say bitzot, water that is standing with malaria, how do you call it, bitza? Full of malaria, and nearby the railway station Cosenza Sibiri. The concentration camp, it was the biggest concentration camp in Italy, from 15 camps that Mussolini built in summer 1940. The number of the internees was more than 3,800. I knew that there were more, but this is what I could find. The internees came to the camp from 1940 to 1943. And most of them were Jewish from all over Europe and North Africa. Between them there were also many Italian Jews that were against the regime of Mussolini, internees, Aris, political people and citizens, very simple citizens that were also dealing with the selling and with also Chinese group was there. They did something wrong to the regime, so they sent them there. The internees were not murdered, not tortured, and not punished. The whole tamhil, the whole situation of the internees made a very strong and complicated community because of the mishmash of the all cultures.
Like a mix-up.
נכון. Languages, habits, and so on. But in spite of all this, there were good connections, but also very bad, very difficult life, because it was too many people in such a
small area.
נכון. This is also a photo that is in the museum, that you see the barracks and the management here, and these were the barracks. And here was the river, and all the area was with water. Slowly they dried the fields, but the place of the camp is in a valley, so it was always with water. The internees were not allowed to go in the beginning. The internees were not allowed to go out from the camp, but they were allowed to make their life independent and full, as much as they could with the situation, with what they had, food and work and etc. Yoshua Levi, in his book Home, this is the book of the voyage of my father on the pension and the staying in the Ferramonti camp, said that there were few surprises in the camp. Is it okay what I'm talking about?
It's amazing.
They gave us beds, mattresses, 2 blankets for a person, and 1 chair for everyone. In every barrack there were 30 men or women, and every barrack select a capo, like a capo in Italy, that he was
It's like he was in charge.
He was in charge. I know English, but I don't speak enough. So he was in charge what is going on in every barrack. Okay? The barracks, my mother, Dina Smadar Neumann, told about the barracks. The barracks were for few of them for men and for women. We had 2 little rooms with another couple that we met. a little kitchen, mutual kitchen, a bathroom, and the toilets were in the yard. The Italian give us some amount, a little amount of money that was enough to buy food in another kitchen. We were always very hungry. Most of the time we were hungry. And we were allowed to go to the river to wash and to be under the sun when a soldier was knocking with his stick and sang a march song. All the limited behavior and all the what we should do or not should do were not accepted very seriously. This is the camp. This is the camp before the renovation, one of the barracks.
The original.
The original, and this is the original, and this is the original, and this is the original barracks when it was raining and wet and full of illness, and they were very ill there. And this is all photos before the renovation.
So can I just ask, it's such a pity that they destroyed the original structures.
It was no, I will show you one picture. It is so destroyed. One building they left like this, and they want to put it under glass. You can't fix it. It is total loss. Mm-hmm. It is total loss. You can't fix it. There is one like this nearby, and they don't have money to save it. I think 10 years it will, the rain and snow and cold and hot, and in the summer it's very hot there, and in the winter it's very cold. This is what it looks like inside. The barack was like this, narrow and long, and the beds were like this. Everybody got a shelf above his bed. This is a man barack, and this is a woman barack. You have to tell me when to change.
It's amazing you can change, but it's incredible, these pictures.
There was a very large, a big פעילות דתית, religious activities. Also for Jews and also for the Christians that were there. In the camp, everybody was allowed to do his life according to his religion and his emunah, and his faith. נכון. There were three synagogues, and where the synagogues were also for עצרת, no? You know, when there was a meeting with all the men, and also for religious activities. כנסים ציוניים, Zionist, no celebration, Zionist conversations and like this. Also memorial days and very important dates, and memorial dates, and also Pesach and Purim, all those, and and other important dates. All the communities in the area helped this community in Ferramonti to arrange some religious objects like talit and tefillin and like this, and also they made a Leil Seder. They had an agadot and everything. The people, there were little amount of Jewish in the area, so they arranged for them. They brought, I don't know from where, but they arranged there was. Also the church, the father of the church wrote Callisto Lupinot, he is very known, and he was the spiritual leader of the Christian. And also there was a Orthodox Greek with a separate men. It's too much for you?
No, it's incredible.
There were also a Talmud Torah, and the Talmud Torah was made by Riccardo Pacifici. He also signed on the ketubah of my parents. You see the children. He gave the Talmud Torah. They always, this is the most beautiful picture from all of them, were also a Talmud Shiurei Torah. They were allowed to make, to arrange their life as they want. It was not criminal. It was all פעילות דתית, religious activities. Also, you see, he is Jewish and he is Orthodox Yevani, no? Greek. And here you have the meeting of the Greek with a Christian, and you see a meeting of the Christian Ha'av Callisto, the father Callisto, with Jewish people, and this is the synagogue. No, this is not the synagogue. This is the fasada, no fasada. No, you have the name of the where they pray, the priest pray.
The altar.
Okay. And also from the Protestanti, they have a Catholic, Protestanti, everything. You can see he was Harav Deutsch. He was the Rabbi Deutsch. He was also responsible for the activities, the Jewish activities, religious activities in the camp. Here you see the arrangement in one baraka for the Seder evening. This is the cupboard, how do you call it, the place where the rabbi stands. And this is the Rabbi Pacifici. It is not a good photo with good resolution, but this is a conference. This is not a religious atzeret, how do you say, conference?
Yeah, concert, yeah. And these with the...
This is a meeting between the rabbi, the Christian, and Professor Mirsky. This was one of the internees. And he was also responsible of the choir. He was the
choir master.
Choir master in the synagogue, and in every Sunday he also was as a master, and the choir, the Yiddish choir, sang in the church. And this shows how
the cooperation,
and because they were all of them were internees. You see, you see, I did this matzeget according to the camp, a part of the camp, not all, because the museum is arranged according to themes that were important and were successful and were going on in the camp. So the children in the camp were very, very important. First of all, how to save them, to eat. The education was very, very important, because many people in the camp were from professors. A friend of mine, her father was a psychiater professor, Jewish. He found his book after many, many years, but this is another story. It was very important. So all the children in the camp were involved in activities, in educational activities, because there were also teachers, and when there are intelligent people, internees that didn't have work in their occupation, they teach at school. You can also teach cheshbon at school. Books and writing materials and מחברות, איך אני עושה מחברות? All you need were supplied by the Glassman. It was an organization of מהגרים יהודיים. There were Jewish people that went through all the places, and from them they got all the materials for the school. Judith Yitzchak is one of my best friends. She was a child in the Ferramonti camp, and this is she, when she was 4 years old. I'm in contact with her. You go to her, you will, because she has a story of the coming to Ferramonti from Benghazi. Another story with her parents and everything. I will give you her telephone, not phone number. She lived in Tel Aviv. Judith Yitzchak was an interner in Ferramonti. She told, I was never able to choose what to eat. If to eat this or this I don't like, this I like, never. I had to eat what was
given
on the table, whatever it was. The children played with משחקים, no? Games that they did by themselves, what was founded in the area. They were used to arrange themselves to any situation. Every situation was available to solve it and to do something with it. Even changes in the weather. When it was sun, they went out and made the lesson outside. When it rained or was cold, they made the lesson inside. But it is very, very fragile and very, very. There are some examples, only some of them, for children that in some activities. Learning, playing in a play, her mother was sewing, so she sees what her mother is doing. My friend Judith Yitzchak, she raised a chicken, and here are two of my friends driving in a agala, no?
A wagon.
Okay, that I think my father did it, but I am not sure. Every children, they didn't go only like, and they learned. You see a kindergarten, you see mothers with the babies in their arms, and you see a class of elder children. And not always the teachers were really teachers. Sometimes there were people that knew how to teach or to bring some materials to interest the children. This is the hero of the camp. He was called Paul Salvatore. He was a manager of the camp.
Oh, this was the manager?
Yes. And this is a child from the camp, a Jewish child. He was a commissar, a policeman commissar in the בביטחון הלאומי.
National security.
National security. I know the word, but it doesn't slip out. He was the first and very important manager from 1940 to 1943. He was a very interesting person in all aspects. He was very intelligent and nice and was very gentleman, strong, brilliant, and Itzugi, outstanding, Mm-hmm. He was a fascist, but he closed, יהודה תביא לי כוס מים קרים בבקשה. אני לא יודע איפה הקפה שלי נעלם. הקפה שלי פה, תן לי אותו. סורי.
He was very
ושלו.
He was very compassionate.
כן. וכוס מים קרים תביא. היה לי קפה, הכנתי לי. אתה שתית אותו? הוא שם, never mind. תביא לי כוס מים קרים בבקשה. He was very, and on one hand he was very impulsive. תודה רבה. I forgot about it then. On one hand, he was very impulsive, you know. But on the other hand, he was very human and very soft man. He was very ambivalent, you know. אתה רוצה מים קרים או משהו? אתה רוצה עוד קפה? He was helped by 10 more marshals that were responsible on the security, and also Gaetano Mareni. You can see Gaetano Mareni in many photos, not in this matzeget, but in other photos that I have. He was very helpful. When there is one little story that when was not enough food in the camp, this Paolo Salvatore went to the road nearby, stopped a military car of the Nazis, and took of their car few sacks of rice. He was Italian, he was fascist, he could do it to save the internees in the camp. So
was he ever given Chasidei Umot Olam?
There are few persons that should be in Chasidei Umot Olam, but it's very difficult to do. Professor Mario Rende said, also the captain of the ships that saved the people from the Greek to Ferramonti should have Chasidei Umot Olam, but nobody can do it. I don't have time and energy to do it. It is a full day job to do it. But I think he should get one. Yeah. Okay. He should get one. Here you can see him in the car, and he wrote to his mother a card. And on the card it was written, in front of about the camp, yes? In front of the fence, rose garden without roses, smiles without light. This is a document about, there are like roses, they were not roses, it was some were good, but also no light, because they're very. You see, this is Marini, not Salvatore, and he is in the back. You see the barracks, and you could see he played with children, took them on the horse, took them on his car. Here Salvatore is in the middle. Here, this is Marini. And these are the other officers that helped him. When the war started to be more easy, or there were times that visitors could come to the camp, because it was far away from the middle of Europe, there was a visit in 11 of May. I don't see the year. 1943. There came a Cardinal Borgoncini Duca, and he came to visit the camp, and he also bring a lot of candies for the children, and he got a very nice and big welcome ceremony. And it was very, very special. Also my parents told me about it, because there were many ceremonies and many events, cultural events, when he visited the camp. one of the important people was also Carletto Lopinot. He also helped the Jewish and also the Catholic people in the camp. Weddings. I put the weddings because I have a lot of photos of the wedding of my mother in the camp with my father, and the original ketubah that was signed by Pacifici. All the ketubot in the camp were like this. It is A4, A4 large, and it's written by Sofer Stam. Maybe there a Sofer Stam, because there were also very religious people there, from all kinds of Jewish. So this is the ketubah of my parents. These are my parents when I fell in love. My father saw my mother. After 1 week, he said to his friends, "This will be my wife." And you see, my father came with a very big group of Zionists from Bratislava, from Slovakia, the Pencho people they were called, and they were a group, aggressive, and all of them were men and gvarim, mad like this. So in the camp were more than 20 weddings. Many of them the celebration took place by the rabbi of the camp. Even though it was a must that Rabbi Pacifici will be present, but he couldn't be every time present, so you want to stop?
No.
So he, because he couldn't be every time present, Rabbi Deutsch signed there, and he signed on the document afterwards. There are many times that the ceremony the ceremonies took place one after the other, because there was one wedding dress for the kala, for the bride, and one suit and a hat and a tie for the bride, for the man. So there was 4 weddings after another, and everybody wear the same clothes. You will see a picture. There was all the people were dressed very, very elegant. I don't know from where they took the suits and everything, but they had some, and they borrowed it from one another. The dress was made of white sheet, and the hinuma, how do you call it in English?
It's like a veil.
Sock and veil?
A veil.
A veil, was made of mosquito nets, and the flowers were taken from the fields. And so it was very. The food, the kibud, יש מילה לכיבוד.
It's like at a wedding,
אתה גם לא יודע, זה טוב, לא חשוב. יש מילה פשוטה שאנחנו משתמשים כל יום. הכיבוד היה all the people that were invited to one wedding made cakes and
delicacies that have...
but only from things that were available.
Yeah.
So what was available? There was many trees of fruit around the camp. Figs, olives, dates, all, because the weather is more like here, you can raise dates and figs. And so my mother, till she died, she didn't like those fruits. But the glasses were empty glasses that from every food that was, shimurim, marmelada and so on. The life after the marriage was not easy at all. Some packages that my grandfather sent from Germany arrived to the camp. We don't know how, but they arrived. He said when they left Germany, they could send also packages. 1 week, Hitler gave them time to arrange it. If after 1 week, it was all vanished. So he arranged, I don't know how. I could never ask my grandfather how this happened and how this, because when we talked about the Holocaust, he got a nerve attack. He was not able to talk, and he was shivering, and he was crying, and it was not able to talk. He was very, very intelligent. You can talk with him about anything, from Bialik to Shakespeare to whatever you want with 8 languages. But about the Holocaust, when he came here, he closed his mouth, his mind and everything, never talked about it and never could tell, so I couldn't ask him. All the things I know from my mother and a book that he wrote. Okay, this was understand. Okay, when they arranged there was no time about Romanov that I told you. There were also a bachelor celebration.
Bachelors?
מסיבת רווקים. No?
Like a bachelor party?
נכון. One was dressed like a kala.
Before they getting married.
כן, and one was there, and they did.
It's amazing.
They did the most that they could. What was going on in the camp that they could do.
Wow.
This is wow. This is a great wow.
It really is.
The survival. The תשוקה, איך אומרת תשוקה באנגלית, נו?
To even think of doing a bachelor party in the camp.
And they cleaned the barak, and they cleaned the table, and they cleaned everything, and put on the table sheets, and arranged everything. You will see. When the packages came from Germany, I don't know how, there were 2 towels, 2 sheets, 2 this. My grandmother, when my mother got married, she gave her 1 towel, 1 sheet, 1 a table clothes, 1 this. So it was okay. I told you about this corner. My mother liked that the house should be cozy and intimate, and with what you have. You know, she doesn't remember the color, but it was old carpets, all blankets. You know, she said it was torn and everything, but she put it, and everything that you see on the shelves, this is people that did it. They did it in the camp. There were talented people there. So she made the home a very cozy corner, and between the how do you say chita?
The wheats.
My parents are sitting, holding hands, very, very calm, and but you can see between the smile. Inside the smile, you can feel the feelings, the hard feelings about the situation that is in the camp. But all the innocent it looks so innocent, yeah. But it's not innocent at all, because in this minute there was a call that the Germans are coming with aeroplanes to ruin the camp, and all the internees were allowed to run away to the mountains and until it will pass. But afterwards it was known that it was a mistake. It was not German. So this is a little anecdota. The ניסיונות, the trying in the camp to try and to handle שגרה, a simple life, and without a normal life, were over any imagination. They were so, how they made all what they made with materials and the abilities that were there. It was very מעל כל דמיון, above all imagination. You will see. This is the wedding of my parents. You see my mother, my father, my grandmother from the mother's side, and my grandfather and my grandmother. Here are the shushbinim of my father. They are dead, but their son lives in Even Yehuda, and we are in good contact, and you can meet him also. You can see the story. You know what his father did in the camp? Showers. You imagine, he did showers. He put blankets. He has a pot. He put hot water in the pot. Stood on a sulam. Stand on the ladder and put hot water from above to take a shower. And he earns money with this. Few pennies, few Italian, I don't know what. You can see of course, all the friends helped to clean the area, and you know what they renovate today, and they did the same ceiling. You will see. Okay? And you see the jars here?
Yeah.
The jars were, and only cakes on that. When you imagine what is going on today on the tables.
It's incredible. It's really unbelievable.
There were few photographers in the camp. We don't know who photographed it.
Because also to think to have a photographer in the camp and to develop the photos.
Okay. Everything was there. Doctor, you will see. I'm not finished yet. This is the wedding. After the wedding, this is the bachelor party. You see, one is like a bride, one is like a maid. Everyone took part in it. This is my mother. This is her mother, and this is the shoshbina. ידעי זה אנגלית שלי, נסטש צילה וינקל, that her son lives in Even Yehuda. They came together with my father on the pension, so they were good friends of my father. You see also all the friends together, my parents, my grandparents. Here is my father, Mechazer, going after my mother before the wedding. He was a carpenter, and that's what his luck. He made, you saw in any concentration camp a chair like this, like or sandals.
It's like a deck. You think they're on the beach?
On the beach. But you can't see anything on the table. This all and the sandals my father made with his own hands. How did he did it? How did he do it? Nachon?
Yeah.
No, they did. You have to repair my English.
It's perfect.
It's perfect. So this is all the wood is stole from the storage of the Italy's people. He stole it. He said, don't tell it. Yeah, today you can stand it. And all the ribs on the sandals and there were beds with bracent and wood, like this, you know, and bracent. He took strips, so you can still sleep on it, but it was useful for other things too. There are many stories about the roman of my father, but I think it's a too short time. This, now we are dealing with culture and art. There was a lot of culture activities from every aspect. Piano players, guitar players, choir, opera singer, a painter, a very known painter all over the world till today, you name it. And I took some items from the culture, and it is also in the museum with photos and everything. This is a box that my father made in the camp. That's zur Erinnerung of Ferramonti, 1942. He did it, and it is in Yad Vashem. Sometimes I think, why is it not? It is in Yad Vashem because it's more important to be there than to go to my children, and grandchildren are not interested at all, but the children, I thought I can take it whenever I want. It's mine.
It's like on loan, on permanent loan.
Permanent loan, נכון. There was very, very serious יחס,
a connection.
Not connection, יחס, relationship about all the culture activities. It was very, very important. Very, very important. So it was very, very known all over. There are many, there were also a library with many books that many were read them, and there were activities and theater and music activities. Art was very, very appreciated.
So your father made that? It's your father's work?
This.
That's incredible.
Okay. And it's not fun. It's like this. It's like this, you know? It's navasnonit. It's not with nails and with glue.
It's all connected.
It's all
intertwined.
Can. Fingerstyle was the most important and known till today. I think I have his catalog here. Mario Rende brought me, there was last year, 2 years ago, a big exhibition about him, and he brought me his catalog. Yes. Here you see, this is Fingerstyle in his atelier in the camp.
In the camp?
Okay. This is a class of painting.
This is all inside the camp?
All in the camp. This is a matzaget of the camp. And all of these are on the walls in the museum. These are ex libris. The size is like this. You know what is ex libris? The papers that you put in your book to acknowledge that it's yours.
In the book, ex
libris. He did a lot of ex libris, but if you see this in bigger, you see the rabbi, look, the book, all the Jewish elements. You see all the Jewish elements in the and he also gave lessons. This is he. I put on the museum a picture like this on the whole wall. This is a scene of a theater. It was a theater. In the internees, In South Italia, middle of the war, Jewish city.
It's just amazing.
This is amazing. Because because of the management of the camp. Only because of him. He could be cruel, and he could be he could forbid. Also, some pieces of art pieces in painting, a caricature.
So gifted.
Okay. This is made. She is my friend. Her parents got it. Somebody in the camp painted it for the birth. Her birth. She was born very also 44. This is a sketch of the camp. Here you have a dance. I want to show how much
There was such culture.
Culture was there, and it was so important. More than food. Dance, guitar. From where they have the guitar and the mandolins, I couldn't ask anyone.
There's two guitars and a mandolin.
Can. And mandolins. From where did they have a piano, a big flag piano? You know what is the stage? The stage is from Safsalim, from benches. Benches together, and the center. And this is a tenor, singer, an opera singer. Accordion. This was a choir. Sport. Culture was very important, everything was very important, but sport was very important. This is my father. He played football also when they came to Israel. My mother was smoking and he played football and was a lot of hours not at home, many hours not at home. So she says, I will stop smoking, but you will stop with the football. But she stopped smoking, but he continued with football. So here we have many groups of sport groups. There was a lot of special people that understood in sport. Also sport people, really professional ones. And there were many they play, but the difficult thing was shoes, because without good shoes for football, you can't play football. And the most important was that the size of the shoes. So it was very difficult to find shoes. It was the main issue. The women played handball here. There was also a group for women. And it was very, very important for them to be professional. Not only to play, but the rules and everything has to be the size of the place that they are playing, and all this. In the groups, there were also players from Czechoslovakia, Yugoslavia, Poland, Austria. Sometimes they were more players, or it was a problem with the area because it was too small. But all the tacharuyot, when one group played against another group, it was very important. The women's playing handball.
Or volleyball.
But what is volleyball?
It's like handball when you throw the ball.
Yeah, something like this. This is the group. This is my father. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is my father. Here.
They had like tournaments where they would play each other.
I don't know about tournaments. I know they were טורנירים, אתה מתכוון, טורנירס. Yes, טורנירס. When they have tourneurs. You can see the most known picture of Ferramonti is in the background you see the barracks, and in the front you see football players. It was the main, you can see it, many, where is my father here?
They even had a manager.
Yes, better, of course. Everything was very professional. These are all the women that played handball. This is a very known photo. Also in museum in Tel Aviv there was an exhibition about the Italy captains all over the history. And there was a little wall about Ferramonti and now about the captain that saved the ship that bring them to Ferramonti, because the Nazis want to say took him to a concentration camp and killed him. So this was also in the, this is a very known, if you see a photo like this, you know it's Ferramonti. It's a, מה שנקרא, icon.
It's iconic picture.
And this is really iconic photo. יוזמה ותושייה. יוזמה ותושייה. I have the word in English, but יוזמה, it's when somebody has a passion to do something, and to on somebody said how to use what you have to do this something when it's not available. This is my father as a carpenter. This is his best friend Shmuel Moshe Shimkovich. They made tables and also beds for babies.
Cribs.
Can, you know, for babies. This belongs also to this exhibition. One of this exhibition that was also in Tel Aviv and was also abroad. I had exhibition. The tables, all the tables are painted by me. It was brown before, but I painted them because the exhibition is called Tables, to show what was the table once upon a time and what is the table today. No connection with people, but full of food. And there, in those times, the table had an idea, a place that everybody in the family is gathered and everything.
Did any of the tables survive, or any of the furniture survive?
No, how could they bring it here?
They couldn't.
No. In the camp, the internees lived their life very autonomic. So there were many hand professions in all the areas: doctors, psychiatrists, intellectual people, photographer, optometrist, cookings, carpenters, shoemaker, gardeners, בית מרקחת.
Pharmacist.
כן, and every job that you want was there. Everybody worked, even though they didn't have tools, real useful, good tools, and also not materials, not enough materials. And also there was a group of bachelors and unemployed. They sit all day long and they did a lot of nothing. Here you see the cleaners. They are a group of Jewish people that cleaned the camp. It was very important, and this was their job. Cook. There was a kitchen. They cooked food and sold it for money to the internees. Money, or painting, or shelf, you know. There were also חקלאות. No, agriculture. Agriculture.
Agriculture, yeah.
Okay.
It's unbelievable.
Taking water from the be'er.
From the well?
From the well. Ice cream.
They even
This
made
is to
ice
show
cream.
it. Yes, I don't know from what they did ice cream, but there was ice cream. You know. Some men did wine. There were wine because the area there was grapes there. Hair cutting,
It's amazing.
carpenters, and also wood collectors to burn the fire, to build houses, to build something. From everything they did something. No? There was a group called Amal that made handmade everything that was handmade but not useful, not for using, not like cutting hair or sew a jacket.
Like souvenirs.
This is one of them. This is something that
And this comes from the camp.
I don't know exactly, it was in my parents, but this man is this. And he came to Netanya with us. I think it was for the camp, I'm not sure. Because in Israel you don't have
It's true, you don't have that.
houses like this. He was so talented, he was really an artist. And it called Amal, Avodot Yad, handcrafts.
Yeah.
They did many things that you had to be very talented for, good hands. And he was one of them. His son lives in Israel still. This is a clock repairer. He lived in Netanya not long ago, Schwartz. And he had a shop in Netanya, a shop of clocks. And this is making
The bricks.
bricks for building buildings. You see? You want to see?
It's amazing.
It's amazing. It's really amazing. It's really, really, really amazing. Youth movements. השומר הצעיר, בית"ר, השומר הצעיר. The group of my father, it's not, I don't want to interfere in politics, but בית"ר and Likud and Cherut then is not what is now. What is now is awful. There are serious people that were Zionists.
Jabotinsky, it was the...
Jabotinsky, genau. Okay, exactly.
But it's interesting that you had Shomer HaTzair and Beitar together in the same camp, it's wonderful that you could coexist.
And Catholic and Jewish together.
It's amazing.
And the psychiater that was a professor with battlers together. This was
very, very unique.
Very unique.
Very, very unique.
Therefore I told you that my story, nobody knows. Now there are people that know. And this matzeget I give every year in private houses and in matnase, Zikaron B'Salon. Okay. They know about me.
But it is amazing that people could get on from different spectrums of the political...
הלוואי היום.
הלוואי.
Another. So this person was 10 years old, Farkash, 10 years old when he was on the ship, on the pension ship, and he came to Ferramonti. He lives still today. He's about 90 years old. He lives in Tel Aviv. You can go to visit him. and he came with his mother. I don't know what happened with his father. הנה כתוב, youth movement work together in cooperation. They cooperate with each other. And this person is still alive. Farkash, is in Tel Aviv. He built a monument from his own money in Netanya about the ship. There is in Netanya a monument that looks like the ship. And all the names of the survivors from that ship are named around the monument. It's in Netanya. If you will come someday in a good weather, I will take you there. Medicine. There was a medicine room for in the camp.
Was even
There
a
was
dentist. Rofeh Shinayim, there's even a dentist.
Rofeh Shinayim, and this woman was the best friend of my mother. She lived till 94. Okay, היה dentist. I don't want to think about the dentist there with the materials.
But it's amazing that they had the equipment.
There was the equipment was from surrounding, because also from the villages they came to the camp to get treatment. You see, also sick people from the villages came to. מה קרה פה? רגע. בית מרקחת, איך אומרים בית מרקחת?
Pharmacy.
Pharmacy bed for very bad conditions.
And look, the pharmacies, there's medicines, it's stocked quite well.
What they could find there, what they could find.
No, they did what they could, but it's incredible.
But in the camp.
Yeah.
Here you see also a doctor treating a foot of a patient. This is also a doctor, I don't know who it is. All those photos I got from Professor Rende. I have only photos that are connected with the family. I had at home. Also the originals I have. But he sent me other, and we sat about hours that told me what is what. I didn't know. This is all the doctors and nurses that work in the hospital in Cosenza. That is the capital of the region. It's about half an hour from the camp. Now, one of those delivered me. And why? I was not born really in the camp. My mother got very, very sick when she was in the ninth month pregnancy, and she was sent to the hospital. And she was 1 month until delivery in the hospital, with no one, alone, with Christians, nurses, that all the time they did like this. And
could your father come and visit?
לא, מה פתאום? לא, מה פתאום? לא, בכלל לא. ממש לא. Nobody. You couldn't leave the camp. The delivery, שחרור.
This is where it was liberated.
Liberated, נכון. I have also in English everything, but I didn't think that you wanted in English. On the 14th of September 43, there came a car from the British Army with a Colonel Nix, and they came inside the camp. So the camp was liberated by them, and he took all the internees and declared that the camp is released. Released, you say?
Yeah, or freed.
All free, it is free. All the internees, that is not true, will got certificates, and the certificate on the certificate, and I have the certificate, the original, is written that you are released from the camp. But of course, I know that not all the certificates came in one
They said
day.
like yeah.
Okay. So
It's amazing that there was a photographer that photographed when.
there are also films. You want to stay to sleep here 2 days, 3 days? You can. There is a Zimmer underneath. Can. No, יש Zimmer for guests. I will not finish it for sure for 9 days. You have to stop me. Masha, 12. Okay. Now, the most important thing in all my story, and I am telling it every time that I give testimony, and every time that I give testimony abroad, in the camp, and in Israel. We are grateful to the Italian people. We also gave an award to the captain. It's not in the Matzeget, but I will tell about it afterwards, because he saved, and because of the humanity of the southern Italian people, we are still living. And when I stand before the children in Italy, hundreds of children, I tell them, thank you to all your ancestors, because of them I stand here before you. They saved us, because they didn't understood the racism. They didn't understood the fascism. They didn't understood the what Hitler did, and they helped all the Jews. That because of them we are alive. That what I heard from my grandfather, my father, in all the books that are written, and I wrote. The internees said, we the internees are thankful and own our life to the commander in the camp and to the citizen around the area that treated us like treated us like human beings with you as human beings, not like internees and not like prisoners and all this. This is a captain, an Italian captain. This is very, very, very important. Most important thing in all my story, in all over my story, included the suffering, included all what I have to tell you. This is about we are so grateful. Mm-hmm. We are so, so grateful. In every time I tell it. Every time I tell it to the children and everyone that are cooperating, that we are so, so, so thankful. And it is very important that also the coming generation in Italy to know it, and also in Israel. And nobody knows it. Okay, after the liberation, after the liberation, this is the Serge Hopkinson. He took photos about the liberation. You see, this is the first photo after the liberation of mothers and children. It's written, it's the first day as liberated people. In 1944, Moshe Sharet, he was dealing with all the certificates, came to visit the camp and arranged that all the internees should come to. Many of them went to, I know them, people that went to America, to South America, but most of them went to Israel. And these are all the people from the cooperative that worked with him. Now I'm telling a little bit about the museum. You want to continue?
Can I just ask, of course, but can I just ask, was your family very Zioni? Were they very Zionistic?
Better. My father, especially my father.
And they chose to come to...
בטח, רק ישראל. My grandfather, when he heard that I'm going to Germany,
Now, Dina, this is the museum.
the museum, the barracks after renovation, the management barracks looked like this. Empty, the same ceiling, they renovated the same as it was. They painted the walls, they left the new windows, but the same idea. It's humid there, also in the winter, the walls are wet, and to put picture on it, it was עוול, ממש עוול, it was not right, but we didn't have money. So this is the first. You can see here in one, I have so many photos from this. Every year I have hundreds of photos about what was going on there. You see here we cut, this is the mayor, and this is me. And I took it and I measured all the walls, how many can I put on every wall, and how to make the composition and the lettering. Of course there is lettering in Italian and in English. We want also in Hebrew, but so few people come from Israel, and to translate it was, nobody could do it, so you see me working here. You see, this is the main person, Professor Mario Rende. He is a brain surgeon. He works in the Ferramonti University today. He helped us a lot and volunteered a lot and everything. This is me, and this is Simona. She's working all those years voluntarily for the museum, and also she's the only one that speaks good English, so I could communicate. He speaks also good English. We are writing in WhatsApp all the time. Few days he wrote me Chanukah Sameach. And this is one of the Italians, she speaks all the time. And we did all the work, we cut, he sent everything to print it. The printing is not so good, it's not so professional, but that's the money that we have. But you see, we work, we climb, and all the museum is מחולק, divided. Every wall has another theme. Sport, religious, culture. You see all the pictures, not all the pictures, you can't do all the pictures of he is a person.
How did he get the pictures? How did he receive them?
This is another film. He did a research of all the names that were in Ferramonti, the Jewish, and also the previous names and the second and third names. Because you see, my grandfather was called Yehoshua, but he was called also Oscar, and he was called also Ozias, and in every document it's written another name. Also my father was called Tzvi, his Jewish name, and Arthur, and Turo, and every time, so he has, I have it too, because he sent it to me, all the names and the second and third names from all the people that were internees in Ferramonti, and all the information that he could bring, when they were born, where they were born, what they did, all the things. So, and he did a lot of research about what happened, and research, he has a lot of important and very, very interesting documents, but Unfortunately, I couldn't put them on the wall because it's all only Italian. And then I didn't want only Italian on the wall and nobody can understand. But after 5 or 6 years that I was there, they got another room, a big hall, that was there was exhibit only documents. And I went with him some documents to explain what it means. One document, he made it bigger. One document is written there, like this. From the mayor of Rhodos to the people of the pension. You have to leave Rhodos because your existence here is making us more poor and there is not enough money for you, and because you are and there is a bikush, how do you say, you are using things, everything is more expensive and more expensive and more expensive. A document, yes.
But
yes.
Dina, he did a big chesed because the Germans came and they evacuated, or they took
one couple,
all the Jews except for very
one
few.
couple decided to stay in Rhodos. They married them. He did furs, and he started in Rhodos, and then decided to stay there, and they were murdered in Auschwitz.
Yeah.
You're right.
So it was like a miracle that they did that. They did a big favor, not knowing that saved their lives.
I told you what I told you before about its people in the area. I want to show how it looks like in 27 of January, in the Holocaust Day, in Ferramonti. They bring hundreds of children. It's not all this. From 10 to 11, this. From 11 to 12, another group. From 12 to 1 o'clock, it's another group. All day long, a week. There are all day long, till 3 o'clock or something from the morning, there are איך אומרים, טקסים, not celebration.
Like memorials.
Memorial days, and then talking. Here you see they come inside. It's very difficult because the barracks are very narrow.
Yeah.
It's long. So every time another group. This is a year that the mayor bought a big tent that more people can go inside. It was snowing. It was a little snow also. So the big he built a big tent. So more pupils could. This is how it looks like. You can see there are also tables, and all around there are photos and lettering. I have it all in English. If you want it, I can send you via every time.
This is incredible.
This is incredible.
It really is.
You want to try with me, to go there with me? You will.
Sure.
It's a little bit, you know. It's the entrance. You see, there is a few years I did the poster. I decided what photo will be there, and some of the memorial days. This is a rabbi, this is a priest. No, Rega. No. Here in this picture, this is a rabbi, this is the mayor of Tarsia, and this is one officer. So you see, but this is a memory they took, and with music, and it's. Here there is the rabbi from Milano. He prayed in Hebrew. This was the first time that I bought an Israeli flag. The woman that was came from Israel, Edith Gilboa, that she lives in Kfar Saba. I don't want to tell it on video, but she, no, don't put Israeli flag here, it's not not politically correct. I said, no. And I brought Israeli flag and put it all over.
And it was accepted?
Betach, of course. Of course. One year that I was there, one person, he's Jewish, he is living in one of the villages, he also grew etrogim for Israel. He's the only one Jewish in South Italy, and he gave money to plant olive oils, olive trees nearby the camp, and it is planned like the menorah. So if you look from higher place, you see the olive oil are planted. This is of course, the ceremonies and everything. There were also theater acts about the Holocaust. You see, these are all actors. They are very serious, more serious than here. באמת. This is from all the villages in the area. All the women knitted a runner, a big runner, a big runner that they put it together for peace. To have peace. I wanted to bring it here to our village, to put it all over the village. But the corona was there, so it was impossible. You see, here I give evidence. Here I give a medal to the captain of the Italian Marines, to thank him about what all the Italian ships did first to save Jewish people. Many ships of the Italian people saved Jewish people from all over. This is with people, it was in the TV, in the newspaper, all full. This is, he should get a Chassid Umot Olam, but he was a manager of the ship Orlandi. He came to Rhodes with the ship Gemogli. When the Nazis came to the island, he sank the ship. He בכוונה.
Intentionally,
and sank the ship to prevent, on the opposite. To prevent the Nazis to use it, so they cannot use it. Okay. After this, they caught him, and he went to Germany, and there he was murdered with his only son.
And he wasn't Jewish?
No.
Sure.
He rescued more than 500 people, and he didn't receive Chassid Umot Olam. You see, to do this, in between we have a group here of Ferramonti survivors, and between the groups there is a lawyer, a young one. He is a grandchild of a survivor. Grandchild, and he promised me that he will do it. But it
takes time.
It takes time.
But it's so important. It's saving his name.
It was to leave everything alone and to deal all with this. You have all to collect all the documents from abroad and what everywhere, and you have to be a lawyer and this. So I had to. Okay, this is something the newspaper wrote about all what was going on, and this is a page about Tarsia. because this is the village 10 minutes from the camp, and they and the people there were in very good condition with the you don't have battery, you have battery of the camp. So this is on a little hill, a very nice village, very, very artistic. You see the
beautiful. And
in the one of the streets there is a memorial statue that is it's written here for a memorial for Ferramonti, and she is holding a baby. So this is the מצגת in Hebrew. I also have it in Hebrew, in English, and I can give it to you. But I didn't write in it all.
No, Dina, what you did here is superb. But Dina, can I ask you, what message do you give to your children and to grandchildren and to the future generations?
What message? Yeah. My real important message is, we are Jewish, you can't change it. Israel is our country. There is no other country for Jewish people. Only Israel. And we pay a very, very sad and great suffering and dealing with enemies, but this is our country, and the youth and the next generation should know it. And also to remember those people that helped the Jewish in Europe to survive and give them the most human survival that they could, because they were also under the Nazi regime. And that is very important. And this is my story, and I'm very thankful until I will die. And I tell it to my children in every testimony that I give, that this is our country, and thankful to the Italian.
Dina, thank you so
Hallelujah.
much. This is your mother with the ketubah.
All this in the background is the ketubah. It's I played on the computer with the opacity. Half ketubah, half my mother. And there I painted the flowers that were taken from the field, and I painted the clothes, the white clothes, and here and there I put out it's written, מחנה ריכוז Ferramonti. In the ketubah it's written. I have more, but I will not show you.
So Dina, I want to thank you so much. There are no words. Dina, your story and the story, it's really...
For my family, it's very unique.
It's unique, and it's not known.
It's not known because it was not a concentration camp with no crematoriums and like this. Therefore.
But it just...
But it's thankful to the Italian people. Never forget it.
Never forget. And your message is so profound. And I'm so grateful to you. There are no words to thank you enough, and you should just have mazel bracha and just know from the bottom of my heart, I'm so grateful that I'm in your home and that you've related the story. And it's so special. And whoever sees this presentation that you've given, they won't be the same. You're going to touch people's hearts, because it's so concentrated here. You understand? It's every picture here has another story. It's got another story. But you've encapsulated so much from this story that for future generations. There are written many books about it. But hearing from somebody who was born at the time and who survived, and your parents, I'm so grateful to you, Dina. You're mostly welcome. Thank you so much. I was very happy to meet you and to know you. Thank you very much, Dina. And you also very invited